Your destination is on the left.
Say you drive a Chevy, say you drive a Ford, you say you drive around the town till you just get bored. Morning number one. Wake up, been up for a little bit. Riverside, Iowa. Friend Shannon's home agreed to put us up for the evening right outside her home. And it was a great evening last night. Had good fellowship, good conversation. You can hear Elliot and Ace in there talking about wanting to get out. Elliot is a 183-pound Dane, absolutely gargantuan. Ace is a little pug-nosed piece of dynamite. Slept good. Temperature was excellent. Woke up to Bill making coffee for us, which is always good, waking up and having some coffee going. He said, hey, seeing how we're going west, thought I'd bring some beans. So cowboy chow is in the making later on. We'll sit here, enjoy a little bit of coffee, enjoy the day breaking in, and we'll head west again. We've gotten started on Rimrocker Trail. Today is Tuesday, September 19th. Just another beautiful day. 68 degrees. We gassed up in Montrose and got some laundry done there at the laundromat. And we've just gotten started on Rimrocker. We'll stay here. We'll stay along the trail somewhere. Haven't exactly decided where. Somewhere tonight, and then we'll do another night on Rimrocker. Probably tonight will be a little bit drier space, and then tomorrow will be up into a little more alpine space. So either way, it'll be a couple of beautiful days. The adventure continues.
I'm going to let you get up a little bit more so I can get the less dust so I can see the road better.
Copy. How many bars do you have?
One.
We just came out of Nucla, and we stopped and got a couple tomatoes and some raisin bran, and Bill got a fifth of whiskey, blended whiskey, distilled here in Colorado, and a bag of ice, because you know, with that whiskey you need some ice. So we're headed back onto Rimrocker Trail here, and we'll be looking for a camping site once we get away from the urban center of Nucla, Colorado. It's been trying to rain. There's a couple of cells that came through along the range, along the slightly higher elevation, and but otherwise it's plenty dry. And as we came down in altitude, and we're as low now as we have been in several days. Right now we're at 5,838 feet, and as we came down, of course, temperature went up, and it's 77 degrees, and it's feeling pretty dry. I got to believe that they're pretty hungry for some of that rain that's falling out of these real discrete cells. You can probably see one of them there in the image. Just outside of Nucla, the Rimrocker Trail goes down to a little more of a two-trackish kind of trail, and less of a country dirt road kind of trail. I'm seeing a paved road down in there.
Yeah, I see that.
That might be, I think that's the ballpark.
Oh yeah, could be.
Let's see what it looks like. How many people are in it? Not many. Bit more acidified than what we were after, though, right?
Yeah, let me get down here and get a look. I don't know, that might be all right.
All right, let's, there's a turnoff just after a couple of switchbacks here. I don't see it yet, but it takes us down into that.
I'm going to eyeball it real quick with the glasses.
And then if we stay there, we just climb back up onto the trail tomorrow.
I'm only seeing what looks like one camper down there.
You want to look at it?
Yep, let's go take a look.
Coming up on the turnoff, it'll take us off the Rimrocker Trail at this intersection here. Tomorrow morning we'd be back up and be going to the right here, but this trail takes us down to the ballpark, and we'll camp down there tonight.
We'll see what amenities the ballpark offers, and that might make a deciding factor.
Well, it is the morning of Wednesday, September 20th. Just a bright, clear morning. It's 59 degrees. We're sitting at about 5,116 feet, just above the ballpark where we camped last night. And we're going up a trail to the town that used to be here, named Uravan, and where we camped used to be the ballpark for Uravan, but that town is no longer there. They used to mine lithium, and when World War II was coming along and the decision had been made to work up some atomic weapons, they started working the tailings of the mine to capture the uranium that was in the tailings. And so there was a lot of radioactive material in this area, and a lot of people in the town eventually suffered from exposure to radioactive materials from the mining work that they did. And now the town is gone and buried up here, so we're going to go up and kind of see what we can see. Well, this is the site that was once upon a time the town of Uravan. All been buried and covered over. Multiple signs up along this way essentially says any materials that you find here may be radioactive. U.S. Department of Energy Legacy Management. I guess this fits in as part of the old stuff. The town formerly known as Uravan. The people of Uravan, thanks to them, their ballpark down by the river is where we camped last night. So pretty cool. Pretty strange that a place was so radioactive that the Department of Energy just buried it. And we're going back down out of Uravan. We're going to head back down and connect with the rim rocker and get back going on that. We're thinking we'll get over to Buckeye Reservoir and that national recreation area over there for camping tonight. It's right along rim rocker and should be a pretty good spot. We're thinking we could get some fishing in at Buckeye Reservoir, and then tomorrow we'll arrive into the Moab area at the end of rim rocker and end up camping at Schaefer Campground, just at the beginning point of White Rim Trail. And so that'll be not tonight but tomorrow night. And the sights, the vistas have been absolutely awesome. The weather has been very cooperative. Last night there was just the slightest little sprinkles, but Bill and I both had our awnings out, and we were not necessarily averse to having a little bit of rain to knock the dust down on the trail, but it just sprinkled a little bit, and it thundered and off in the distance, and we could see some lightning flashing along the top of the buttes, and that was pretty cool. We had a nice fire last night and enjoyed an evening until it was after 9 o'clock, which makes it kind of late for this last week. Last night was kind of late. But we had some great wood that just happened to be there at the campsite, and it all worked out pretty doggone nice. So when we get back on rim rocker, give another bump here. This is the ballpark, looking down at it from above on the road that goes up to Uravan. We decided to stop on the way back down here, try to get this view. Yeah, pretty sure that sometimes the water honks right down through here, but certainly not today. And we're back on rim rocker, and we've left Uravan in the ballpark, crossed a couple of dry stream beds. There's something in the area that's gotten Bill and I both sneezing like crazy. Some yesterday, but especially today. Not sure what it is. Dry as a bone out here. Some of the aspen, especially higher than here, we're not very high at the moment. We're only 5,331 feet. But in the higher elevations, the aspens are changing pretty good.
Hey, I see you down there.
Saw a nice mule deer buck this morning when we were driving up to Yerevan. Little 6-point, not a big rack, but beautiful deer. And when he went across the trail, he was moving pretty good, and he didn't stop until he was out of sight, which was quite a ways away. And he made it look effortless to run uphill through this rocky environment. Had a bunny go across just a little bit ago. We're still aired down from yesterday, running about 20 pounds pressure in the tires. Bill's running a little bit higher. He set his, I think, at 25, and we haven't had any need to get any lower than that. And yesterday it was primarily we aired down for comfort of ride. There's been a couple of spots today where it was good to be aired down to get some better grip. I'd be surprised if we see anybody on the trail today. We didn't see anybody between Nucla and the ballpark along Rimrocker yesterday. Prior to Nucla, of course, we saw some folks on that. But I'd be surprised if we see anybody today. It's midweek, and we're fairly deep into September, so. Alright, check back in a bit. Now we're above, looking down. It's a chance to see the ballpark where we camped last night. And right here to the right, there's the trail that goes up to her van. Can't see the town from here, but it is an amazing, striking view. All right, go ahead on. I wanted to get you in the view here.
Pretty stretch down here. Got the yellow stuff growing both sides of the road, down the center a little bit.
Yeah, I can see a long ways.
Yeah, you can see the definitions of the fields of what they got planted and everything else.
We're within a mile and a half or so of Buckeye Reservoir, and the flora and fauna, especially the flora, has changed significantly. I mean, we were in bone dry space for quite a while, and now there's puddles and mud and some black pine up in here. Very pretty. And we'll be staying at Buckeye Reservoir tonight. Hopefully get some fishing in, and then on tomorrow to get over to Schaefer for input point for White Room Trail, or at least the input point for us. So we've got 74 degrees and we're running at, let's see, 7,940, so right shy of 8,000 feet. Garmin tells me we're within 0.83 miles. Some of these pines are pretty big, pretty good size. Really beautiful trees. There's cattle guards every now and again. Fair number of cattle that are along the road, sometimes in the road, and those cattle guards help keep them a little more regional. You don't wander all too far. Yes, a significant drop here. Going downhill a mite. Nice and green up here. The last couple of days has been pretty fairly brown. I mean, there's been some sage and other growth. And, we went through a lot of juniper forest today, which really smelled good. I just saw a sign for
I think I see a lake ahead of me.
camping in designated areas only, so I'm assuming we've slipped into the periphery of the park. Garmin just gave me a proximity alert, so it thinks we're in the park too. Stop up here at the information kiosk. I see there's some information pointing us toward
The cow's out there swimming.
Get out. Really?
That's not going to scare the fish, is it?
Yeah, you don't see cows swimming in reservoir all that often, I guess.
I had to look at him with the binos because I seen him pulling stuff up and eating it. Then he got a little duck floating right around him too.
Out there feeding like he's a moose.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to get the binos to make sure it was a cow.
It's Thursday morning, September 21. We have left Buckeye Reservoir, where we camped last night, and we are now in Utah. Roads are dramatically improved. Pretty much a dirt road, and fairly dry around Buckeye Reservoir. Completely different soil. The darker soil, a more clay-based soil, and a fair amount of moisture in the soil, so it was even muddy in a couple of spots. But after we left there, we're back to the very dry, pretty dusty roads. So we're probably about 20 miles from Moab or thereabouts, maybe a little bit more. And we're going to stop at the National Park Service office there in Moab and see if we can find another campsite within White Rim that wasn't available when we made our reservation. Those sites went mighty quick. They got scarfed right up fast when they became available.
This is a nice, well-maintained trail.
As Bill says, it's a nicely maintained trail. So we'll be at Schaefer Campground tonight is the plan. Kind of at the northeastern edge.
Something standing up in the road from me. This looks like an elk. It is. Did you see him?
Yeah, an elk and a side-by-side. Interesting combo.
Well, the elk saw us before he saw the side-by-side.
So we'll be at Schaefer tonight, and we'll put onto the White Rim Trail tomorrow. Part of the trail has gotten a bit rocky again, a little more challenging. We just aired back down. We had aired up before we left the Buckeye Reservoir, so we just aired back down. I mean, yeah, I'm running about 20 psi. Makes a big difference in terms of creeping over these rock heads. Saw a few mule deer, saw an elk in the road, and had a bald eagle that came across the lake at us this morning fairly low while we were having coffee. That was beautiful. The lake was absolutely placid and calm, and it was a gorgeous morning. Coming down out of a fairly rocky section that had some technical and a little bit challenging features along the road, along the trail. This isn't really technical, but it sure is bumpy. It sure is rocky and can jar you around good. But as you can see, there are some pretty good views. We're about halfway down, and the views are still quite a ways out there. Sage really smells nice out in here. This section is about 5 to 8 miles an hour, something like that. Coming on again, it smooths out. Get up about 10 miles an hour. Dropping in altitude fairly good. Alright, we're still dropping in altitude, coming down into the basin toward Canyonlands, toward Moab. And let's see, we are currently 7,345 feet. Still pretty rocky and slow going. Hasn't been anything significantly technical per se, but the trail demands, one's attention pretty continuously. I mean, there are sections where you can get distracted and goof with a GPS or some device, but by and large, this trail demands your attention. Temperature is currently 63 degrees. We have just put onto Schaefer Trail in Canyonlands National Park, and we're on Schaefer Trail. We're gonna get down through these switchbacks on Schaefer Trail down to Potash Road. We'll take that, and just a little ways off onto Potash Road is Schaefer Camp, and Bill and I have that camp tonight. We're the only ones in it, so it'll be kind of nice. And then tomorrow we'll drive through to Murphy's Hogback, Camp C, or Campsite C, and Murphy's Hogback. Fairly high up and good view. And these are just, I mean, everywhere you look here is like, oh my. Hard to get the scale. Anyway, the adventure continues. It is 3:53 in the afternoon. The thermometer says 78 degrees on September 21st. Is today the first day of fall? I think so. When we were in Moab, it was 87, so pretty warm in Moab. You can see how tight it gets. Some folks are just so afraid of that edge over there that they just won't get over there. And here's where it begins, so I'm going to slip into 4 low.
Yep, same here.
One waiting at the bottom for us. No, I take that back, going the same way we are.
I see one coming up though.
See anybody else coming up from down there at this point.
Nope, I don't either, so we gotta run for a little bit. No idea what's beyond that one curve there though.
let this Jeep ahead of us roll on it ahead a little bit.
I'll let you get around the curve before I come around. You can let me know if there's anybody coming.
Copy.
How's it looking?
Can't see anything yet.
I'm coming in.
Clear so far.
Okay, I'm rolling.
You can see that Jeep that's running in our same direction below us. See one coming up. See one maybe parked, or doesn't look like it's pluming any dust. I see a vehicle down there.
Yep, I see him winking at us down there.
I think maybe here at this pullout it'll only take a second to get out of 4 low.
Yep.
Done. All right, that's about the end of the switchbacks on Schaefer Trail. Check back in here in a little bit when we get to Potash and turn off for Schaefer Camp. Schaefer campsite to the left, half a mile. The White Rim Trail is straight ahead. We'll be back to that come morning. I'm excited about that. We're at Schaefer Camp, Canyonlands. The viewscape is just awesome. As always, it's tough to capture depth. I'm going to spin into the sun here a bit too. I'm going to catch this in the morning. There's a few gaps in some of these rock features that you'll spot. It's our campsite down there. Say hi, Bill.
Hey there.
I'm going to try to do a nightscape from here tonight. The atmosphere is really clear. It's going to stay that way all night. All right, that's 360 from Schaefer. Okay, we're coming off of, we're just coming right up to the White Rim Road right here. And so it begins. It is 67 degrees on September 22nd. We are on the White Rim Trail. Last night was a beautifully balmy, warm, not too warm, but a nice warm night, wasn't it?
It was. I opened the window, of course, the side windows I opened up, but I opened the one up to go between the cab, and yeah, I had a nice breeze coming through there.
much all just bedrock right here, what we're driving on. (4,823 feet), 9:10 in the morning. I haven't stopped saying wow in my head since we started on this trail. Just turn after turn, there's a new angle of seeing this space that just brings up a wow.
So if we were in Australia, would this be the Outback?
I think it would be.
Good. Keep your eyes open for a steakhouse. Outback Steakhouse is good.
It is 1:23 in the afternoon. .70 degrees. Up. You see the climb on this in front of us?
Yeah, I do.
Nice.
Wait till you get to the top. You going in low gear?
No, I just wanted to bump it down into 1. I'm going to go 4i first gear.
Ready for me?
Stand by.
Say again?
Stand by. You may want to consider going into 4 low with the weight of the truck. It's there's a couple spots that are even steeper than what you see.
Okay, I'm in 4 low.
I'm up top. Come on. No, there's one coming up.
They're wait here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got one immediately behind me. The 3 broke down way back.
Ooh.
So keep going, but
Yeah, we're camping up here at Murphy, so the yeah, he's coming up with a Ford 150.
okay.
So have you been down that stretch before? It's steep.
Coming up.
So you wanna gear down to go down.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. It's I mean it's especially going down, it's real doable, but it's sandy and loose, and just take it slow and gear down. Okay, let's see if we can figure out which one to see.
All right. I was going to say I need a drink after that climb, but being that they're so early in the afternoon and we're fine gentlemen, I think I'll go with a toddy.
There you go. That was steep, wasn't it?
If I would have walked that up first, I probably would have been afraid to drive it.
Especially that one spot, like, I don't know, midway or so. Okay, this one's A. We're at Murphy's C. You can see my foot right there. Kind of looking over that edge right there. Don't want to drop my phone. That would be messy. about 70 or so degrees, about a 20 mile per hour breeze. Very dry today, but the view here, I don't think there's any place here that doesn't have a pretty fabulous view. There's our camping area and our outhouse. We are starting our day, leaving Murphy's Hogback Campsite C, and we are going to drop down in and eventually end up down along the Green River, but the descent begins right here. It's hard to tell from the screen, but this is fairly steep. Running right next to this rock edge and the drop off to the right. We have some ledges that hang right out over the trail here. Hopefully the timing isn't such that the rocks want to fall now and squish me. Ha. Pretty windy night early on last night. It's currently rating 58 degrees at 8:25 a.m. Saturday, September 23. And we're going to switch back a couple of times. End up down in a fairly flat space for a while. Only got down to, I don't know, maybe 52, 53 degrees, something like that last night. Pretty comfortable sleeping. The wind howled until maybe 11, maybe midnight, but it rocked pretty good and then just settled out. I thought that clamshell might close a time or two. It didn't. All right, hard left. See the trail down there. Next switchback, a little more than 180 degrees. We could see quite a ways down the trail and nobody was coming our way. Nobody got an early start up into this space. These campsites are very widely spaced, so it's quite a ways before the next campsite. Drop it down fast. Hard right. Just bone dry in this space. I don't know how these plants or these animals make it in terms of having access to water. It's just dry, dry, dry here. Everything, the interior of the Jeep, the exterior of the Jeep, everything is pretty, very fine dust. But what an exquisitely beautiful space. So dramatic from what is so lush in Michigan. Even if it seems like it's dry in August and such there, it's certainly nothing like how dry it is here. A little more than Almost 180-degree turn there. This little strip, the elevation falls off on both sides here in a second as we go underneath this little rock ledge that's coming up. Saw some bicyclists come down. We watched them ride down yesterday. From above we watched them and they got tiny. But about the time they got here, they were going just shy of light speed and they were hooting from the excitement of it. Alright, check back in when we get down a little lower. Prominent feature in front of us is Candlestick, and we're just coming up into the area where Candlestick campsite is. We'll go up here a little bit and take a left and on this trail, and Candlestick sits along the edge of a ingress to the canyon, not right up against the edge of it, but back from the edge of it just a little bit. And with all of these campsites out here, there's just no bad view, no matter which way you look. Still 58 degrees at 9:44 in the morning, September 23rd. Here's the Green River.
I see somebody down on the water.
Copy that. What a pretty piece of water to be on. I see somebody else up at the next bend up there too.
Alright, yep, I see it.
Getting right down along the Green River here. And the three campsites at Potato Bottom aren't too far up here. We're right on the edge. It goes straight down to the river down here on the left. An oasis of green in the middle of all this dry landscape. Well, little while back I was hearing some clunking and funking from the back of the Jeep. Wasn't sure what it was, trying to figure it out, driving along. It kept happening. Finally stopped, and laying right next to the tire when I got out was one of the lug nuts and the lug post that had sheared right off, laying next, just behind the tire. And checked the rest of the nuts. All of them were loose. A couple of them pretty significantly so. So checked all the lug nuts on all of the tires, and everything else was tight. But on that one tire, all the lug nuts were loose inexplicably. And I'm wondering about the tire rotation that I had done just before we left. But like 1,700, almost 1,800 miles had been put on since then. And don't know what to make of it. But when we get back to Moab, we'll see if we can't get that stud replaced and have all 5 studs back in play instead of just 4. So I'm feeling a sense of weakness on that driver's side rear wheel. Not afraid, but I know that it's diminished in its capacity to handle stress. Not sure if there was additional damage done as that wheel had flexed with those nuts being a little bit loose. So the adventure continues. Okay, we've moved past Potato Bottom. We're at the lowest point we've been in days and days. A couple of states worth of lowest point. We're at 3,987 feet, and we're kind of headed toward the tail end of the White Rim Trail. Real dusty in this segment. I think with being down in low, the wind can't get down in here to disperse some of the dust, so it hangs right in here. Hard left here, Bill. Passed a couple of bicyclists this morning, headed in the opposite direction we were going. Saw a couple more in a shag wagon that was at Candlestick campsite. Candlestick is still kind of there, just off to our south, right over in there. Okay, we'll continue to kind of climb up a little bit here, get back up a ways, and head toward the tail end of the trail. Still a little ways to go. Alright, adventure continues. Bit of a shelf road here, right along the river, and it's straight up on the right and straight down on the left. We just passed Labyrinth Campground, beautiful campground, best one that's, you know, by the river sort of, and has a view of the river, but also excellent canyon view. All right, we are rolling through the cattle guard. That is, for us, the end of the White Rim Trail, or the beginning of the White Rim Trail if it's somebody just coming in. So we have just completed the White Rim Trail. It is 11:54 in the morning, September 23rd. Awesome.